it's a form of escapism. I mean, it's sort of a medium that allows me to experience things that I might not necessarily experience in my normal life, because I can ride fields on a chocobo in Final Fantasy and kill things with the sword, or I can take to the streets of gritty New York and kill criminals, I guess.
See, that's a difficult question because there's two sides to that story. I do see them as just, something to pass the time, a bit of fun. When I've got other things on, like, work or something like that, then I'll just to kind of, relax, play a bit of a game or something.
When I get a new game, I will play it pretty much every waking hour, and I just won't stop for like weeks.
If I've got like the summer or something and I've got like a couple of weeks spare and shit, I'll game constantly, and I get really serious and I get very, very angry. Ridiculous.
Video gaming has already gone past the point where we can just dismiss it as being a toy. I think it's already too important and plays too big a part in so many people's lives for it to be dismissed that way.
I just find them so fun. It's just like escapism, like reading a book or watching a film, except there's more interaction, especially when you're playing multiplayer games with your friends.
If I've just got a brand new game, I'll probably spend around about 3 to 4 hours a day, but it wears off once I've played the game a bit.
You buy another game?
Yeah, then I buy another game.
It started when I was about 5 or 6, when my brother had a NES.
Okay, I first got into gaming when I was about 6, possibly 7, when my dad bought me an Amiga 600.
Then I had a SNES, then I had Game Gear, and then
I got a Mega Drive for my 6th birthday.
All the way up until, PS2, then Xbox, and then
got the Xbox 360.
Some of the best games I've ever played were on the Amiga.
Well, I've been playing on the PC since around the time I got my NES as well, playing old school adventure games, point and click.
And pretty much been playing since then, a few different consoles, PC gamer, I dabble. I mean, when gaming was kind of lumped in with Dungeons and Dragons players, that they stay indoors and curtains closed and have no life and they just play. And I do come from that school a bit, but slowly the geek has become cool. That's sort of the thing that's happening as gaming comes into the public domain more and is seen as more than a toy. It's actually seen as something that is important and can be stimulating on many kinds of intellectual levels.
Particularly with gaming as it migrates online and starts to attract a great deal of people there, and also in kind of weird and wonderful ways, gaming is affecting other media as well. They're kind of picking up on the ethos of and the idea of play and gaming, and it seems to be so we're getting more kind of game-like films, for example. So I think we're going to see in all kinds of ways, we're going to see the convergence of different media around this idea of play or gaming. So it's definitely there to stay, and it's going to be a feature of most of our homes in the future, I think.
Next generation, I mean, it'd be obvious to say graphics, because graphics are always going to improve with each generation. I guess on a deeper level, next generation just means, I guess, games becoming more in a way. I mean, be it storytelling, ways it interacts with the player.
It's graphics. It's most definitely graphics. I mean, I think in the next 3 to 4 years, you'll probably see photorealism. I mean, there's games like Crysis which have just come out, which are 2 years after Far Cry, and that's pretty damn good. And if they carry on the way they're going, then it'll be photorealistic. You won't be able to tell the difference, I think.
It means to me a kind of greater computing power, and hence the possibility of more complex, more kind of expansive games with bigger game worlds, more to explore. And I hope it does tend to mean more graphic realism, which I think there's too much attention paid to that. I'm not particularly fussed about graphic realism. I'm more interested in the capacity for, as I say, exploring multiple pathways and creating bigger worlds and more complex gameplay.
For me, I'd say next gen would be the Wii, because it's something different. Next generation is pushing the boundaries. Yeah, you got graphics and everything for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, but to me they're not truly next generation, because with the Wii you've got the new controller, which makes it different. It's a whole new kind of way of playing games, because you're not playing with the controller, you're using your arms and everything. So I would define that as a next generation console.
Interaction, just like the Wii, just kind of getting people more involved. It started off with the iToy and the PS2. I thought that was an amazing little adventure. I think just Nintendo's just elaborated on that and taken it to the next generation and made it into a 3D, more interactive game.
Well, I wouldn't really look at the Wii as true next gen. As fun as it is, and there are plenty of great games on there, it just seems like it's a gimmick that's going to run out.
It's easy to get tired of those games when they get very formulaic and just shooting one damn thing after another. So I'm also interested in those kind of role-playing games where you get a chance to explore a world and create a kind of avatar and identity. So a game like Oblivion for the Xbox 360, I think is the kind of right up my street, really. And I like games that I do like games that look good, but so a game like BioShock that really explores that whole Art Deco aesthetic and plays around with mise-en-scène and atmosphere, I think really works quite well. So I'm quite keen on games like that.
So I don't feel that violence in games is associated at all to violence in real life. If people are so mentally unstable, they're like, games rule their life and they do exactly what they do in the game. They shouldn't be playing the games in the first place and should just be like a mental institution.
Yeah, no, I'm an angry person anyway, just generally it's not caused by games. It's just you must have a weak personality to let games affect you in that kind of way.
Yeah, I play the kind of first and third person shooters. A bit of kind of random violence is good fun.
Violence in gaming, that is a whole can of worms. I disagree with it wholeheartedly. I think that anyone that thinks that GTA and Manhunt cause people to go out and do serious crimes is an idiot.
That's awesome. It's a game, no one's going to watch something on a game, well they might do actually, but it's not going to really do it in real life. That's the thing, it's just going over in your head. But I don't think violence is that bad. It is a game.
If someone who plays these games and then goes out and commits atrocities, then they must already have something wrong with them. It's not the thing that's making them do it. Because it's gone on for ages to every kind of art form and medium. It's happened to literature, films, now it's happening to games. It's just a process.
I think there's a lot of hot air spoken about violence and media and in particular video games. I think that people who play video games have quite a complex relationship with the game, and they realise that they're playing and that they're engaged in kind of a fantasy. And I don't think it follows that when they may be hyped up and excited and get a rush from playing a game. I'm not saying there's no visceral or bodily effect, but I don't think the effect is such as to cause you to kind of go out and to damage somebody or kind of commit vandalism or whatever.
I wouldn't class me. Well, I'm definitely not a casual gamer, but I don't think I'm a hardcore gamer because I also have a life. I'm somewhere in between, more towards the hardcore side, but not quite there. I don't devote my life entirely to games, but most of the websites I frequent are gaming-based, GameSpot, gaming, and I spend a great deal of my time either playing games or reading about games. I guess I am an enthusiastic gamer.